friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another vlog, and kind of in the same vein as last week's vlog, I'm going to be focusing on reading. I will be participating in the Bloomin' Readathon that takes place from the 1st of November to the 30th of November. I am currently reading Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I am 180 pages in. This is about two friends who make video games together. We start off when they were kids, how they met each other, and then into college, and then into them designing a video game together. They're now on to their second one, and we're flashing back to what happened with Sam's mom, her dying in that car accident, and then we haven't really gotten too many flashbacks of Sadie. That's mostly been focused on her relationship with her professor that was abusive. So now they are in Los Angeles, and it's quite emotional. I am liking it. I'm not fully 100% there, but I can see myself getting invested in the characters. I am going to continue reading this, and then we'll probably move on to another of the literary fictions that I have, but I'm probably gonna read some graphic novels in between. So, happy Sunday. I'm looking forward to this week and the rest of this readathon, see what I can knock out, and we'll talk later.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit. It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you?
Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. Last night, I ended up finishing Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I really just blew through it. I just sat down and read. This deals with grief in a way that I was not anticipating at all, and it got quite emotional towards the end. And I really liked it. I still don't think it's the perfect book, but it's really good. It's very soft and gentle and very human. So today I'm going to start Convenience Store Woman. It is about a girl who works at a convenience store, and people tell her that she should have more ambition in life, and she's just very happy working at a convenience store. It seems like a good departure from the very emotional Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and all the other books that I have on my TBR. So I thought that this would be a good follow-up. I have about one graphic novel left that I haven't read, so I'm trying to save it for when I really need it. I'm not feeling my best. Yesterday I started to get a sore throat, and now it's just worse. But I'm here, and that's it. So I ended up finishing both the Tilly Walden and Convenience Store Woman, and I'm gonna give the most unhelpful reviews of all time. For Convenience Store Woman, you're either really gonna like it or you're not gonna connect with it at all. The main character is pretty interesting, and I think she's someone that a lot of people could relate to. I didn't find the story very compelling. And then for the graphic novel, I'm not a survivalist zombie person, and I don't necessarily know if I'd paid enough attention when I picked it up. I probably would have not done it. It's set in the world of The Walking Dead, so if you're a Walking Dead fan, maybe pick it up. But it's like a bunch of kids who are trying to start a settlement or like a village together. They're like rebuilding buildings and stuff and trying to survive zombies. That's fine. I thought we could check in with the Bloomin' Readathon. Very helpfully taped up the bingo board, and I have some little puffy stickers on there that I thought would go well with the theme of the readathon. 9 spaces already taken up. I'm gonna try to get all of the squares. I haven't gotten a bingo yet. So starting up, we have a bee, a book on your shelf that has a lot of buzz. And for this, I picked the Tea Dragon Festival, which is the second book in the Tea Dragon Society series. And it's an extremely popular graphic novel. I have The Cloud Space, which is a book that you assume will make you emotional. And for this, I have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It in fact did make me cry. We have Sun, which is a happy book, which could really be any of the graphic novels that I read. But I'm gonna go with Aquacorn Cove for that one. We have Daffodil, which is a book about friendship, which again could be Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, but that I have the Tea Dragon Society, which is about friends who have tea dragons. Cacti, which is a non-needy read, fewer pages / anthology. So I read a plethora of graphic novels, but I'm going to put Clementine in that one. It was not very many pages, and obviously like it's a graphic novel. So Lotus, which is a book that features disability, which at the moment is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And then lastly, we have The Fertilizer Space, which is a book that will nourish your soul. And for this, I'm going to go with the Willow Weep graphic novel. I didn't really talk about it much, but it was a 5-star and I absolutely freaking loved it. It was about a girl who got sucked into like an alternate dimension and she has to help them save it, and it's just really delightful. I really liked it, and I was just smiling and giggling the whole time, so that fits that prompt. I am currently reading All My Rage, and this is a YA novel. It's following 2 characters. It's also following the backstory of one of their parents after they have an arranged marriage in Pakistan and then they move to the US. This could also cover grief, so I probably will use this for the grief space because Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow I've used for other stuff. This could fit the dark as well. The trigger warnings in the beginning are drug and alcohol addiction, physical abuse, Islamophobia, mentions of repressed sexual assault, intense exchange with law enforcement, and death. And I think that's it as far as prompts. I am very much enjoying this so far. Like I said, it follows 2 teenagers living in, I believe, LA, and one of them just lost their mother, and one of them has a bad relationship with their uncle, and they have a like friendship that is sort of blooming into a romantic relationship. Obviously this deals with some pretty hard themes on their end, but then we also, like I said, get the flashbacks to one of their parents' relationship in Pakistan and their arranged marriage and then coming to the US and all that. So it is quite an emotional book. I am 126 pages in. It definitely tugs on your heartstrings. It'll make you mad at some points. I'm not a big YA reader, but doing what I want it to. Like, it's done very well. I'm connecting to the characters well, and I like really feel for them, and I just want to see everything turn out well for them. I have quite a bit of work that I need to do this week, so I haven't really gotten a lot of reading done, unfortunately. I did start a new anime. It's called, I finished my other one, the one that I was talking about in my last vlog, the Frieren Journey to Beyond or whatever. It was good. I would give it like, I haven't finished it. I've caught up to where the anime currently is. I would definitely recommend for what's happened so far. It's 10 episodes are out now as the time that I'm filming this. It's probably going to be about 12 episodes if I had to guess. And then I also caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen, which is an anime that I absolutely adore, but I have been watching kind of slowly. I took a hiatus to not watch anime for a while, and then I kind of caught up with the Shibuya arc. Like, I watched it pretty much all at once. And that's really good, really good. If you are into like action, dark themes, demons, stuff like that, you probably heard of it if you watch anime, but it's really good. And then I also started A Happy Marriage, which is an anime that's on Netflix, and I'm like, I think 2 or 3 episodes in, and it's about a girl who has an arranged marriage with a guy who has like kind of a bad reputation, and she's been like stepped on by her family, and she didn't want this arranged marriage. She wanted to get married to someone else, but her family was like incredibly abusive and didn't really care about her. She is the father's first wife's daughter, and when his wife passes away, he remarries, and the stepmother is like kind of like a Cinderella situation. She's just awful, and she has a daughter who's also awful to her. And there has been some allusion to the fact that there are people that have magic in this world, but it hasn't really played a huge part yet. She seems to be like a dud, and then the stepsister has magic. I'm assuming at some point we'll find out that she also has magic, and it's probably going to be like super strong, but it's good so far. The animation is amazing. The animation team for Netflix, like obviously there's different producers and stuff, but it's always like top notch. So it's gorgeous, and I have a feeling I'm really gonna like their relationship. So definitely a huge fan. I'll probably catch up with you guys a little bit later on. Not like a super interesting week with lots to talk about and stuff, so.
I could sit around and wait all day. You lay easy on my mind, like a candle I just burn away. All we really have is time. All we really have is time.
I can't read this book anymore.
Wasted on anybody. Take it with anybody but you. I don't wanna waste it on anybody. Take it with anybody but you.
Okay, so when I said that all the books that I got were deeply emotional, like I actually meant it. I just finished All My Rage, and I cried multiple times at this. Not like sob, but like tears in my eyes, my throat was closing up, like crying at this, and it's so good. It's so good. I am not a huge YA person, like I've said in a previous clip. Not that you have to necessarily connect to a book for it to be good, but I don't find the YA sparks interest in me in the ways that I like to read. You cared so deeply for these characters. They felt so real, and you wanted the best for them. Like, this is the connection that I wanted to have for Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I had that connection at the end of that book, but this is like the whole time. I was just rooting for these characters, and every pain that they felt, I felt, and the tense scenes where shit was happening, like I was so stressed. Like, this was such a good book. It's easy 5-star, easy 5-star. I really liked the conclusion, and the way that everything was handled in this was just fantastic, and highly recommend. If you're someone that doesn't really like to read YA, I want you to pick this up. I would definitely recommend. It hits the grief and the dark themes prompts on my bingo board, and I'm so glad that I read it. So let's go pick out my next read. So this is the little shelf that I keep all of my unread books on, aka like my TBR from the library and stuff. Now, I did request like 30 manga from the library today that I definitely need to pick up. And I don't think I can have all of these checked out and pick those up, manga up at the same time, so I definitely need to get through these. So this is a nonfiction. I'm probably going to read that in a separate video. So these are the ones that I'm looking to finish this month in this next set of vlogs. So what I'm thinking is I break up, because I have multiple books by this one author, and I think I'm going to break them up. So I have 3, and I'm going to put the other 2 in the middle and go from there. I'm pretty sure this is the first release by this author. Basically, I'm going to read them in this order. And I think I want to read Crying in H Mart last. Obviously before the last. So I think that's my reading order. Kite Runner, Stationery Shop, 1,000 Splendid Suns, Crying in H Mart, and The Mountains Echoed. This is the one I'm like most concerned about liking. Just from reviews that I've heard about the writing style. So now I'm gonna start the Kite Runner. We'll talk when I have some thoughts about it.
We find ourselves starting from scratch, brick by brick. No path carved out for us now. The brush is thick. All I'm asking now, don't give up on love. Don't give up. Don't give up on love.
This is why being a mood reader who is easily influenced is so annoying sometimes, because I am 57 pages into the Kite Runner and I'm really enjoying this, but all I want to do is read manga because I've been watching creators that read manga and I've been getting back into anime and it's a pain in the ass. But I thought we could talk about what I've read, because I have read a lot of graphic novels and manga since we last talked. First up, in these first beginning chapters, we're following Amir, who is a young kid living in Afghanistan. His father is quite wealthy and they have servants, and the servants have a child named Hassan, who is someone that hangs out with Amir, but because of their class difference, Amir doesn't really recognize him as a friend. And we're kind of just seeing Amir's life in place of privilege as a child with a rich father. He has issues with his relationship with his father and not having a mother and some kids in the area, but generally he has a very good life. And there is a change within the next couple of chapters. I would guess we see the invasion of Russia and how that changes the political and daily lives of people living in Afghanistan. So I got a bunch of graphic novels and stuff from my library that I thought we could talk about. So after I read All My Rage, I ended up reading The Magic Fish. I read all of these today while I was at work. The Magic Fish. This is a gorgeously illustrated graphic novel about a kid. His parents are Vietnamese. We're seeing parallels between him trying to think of how to come out to his parents and also him connecting with his mother and her story through stories. It's really gorgeously illustrated, like I said, but the story was very heartwarming but also very emotional, and the art style was fantastic. Then I read volume 5 and 6 of Girl from the Other Side. This is a manga series that I started a couple of years ago and never continued. It's basically about a girl who, in a world there has been ravaged by a curse, and there's people that live on the inside and people that live on the outside, and she was abandoned on the outside and she gets basically taken in and raised by this cursed being, and you're kind of just watching her grow up with him and learning more about the curse and what happened with him. I gave both these volumes 5 stars. I think it's a fantastic series. It balances sweet, heartwarming moments very well with these kind of dark and grim themes, and the relationship between little girl and the cursed being is really sweet, and I think, like, again, the art style was great. Then I read Frizzy. It's about a girl in middle school and her relationship with her hair and her heritage and her mother and her family and all of that, expectations on her put on by her family and society about beauty and hair care and all of that kind of stuff and conforming. And again, art style is absolutely gorgeous, very colorful and bubbly and bright. Deals well with the sweeter moments of family and community while also addressing the more harmful things that we're raised with and raised to believe, and combating those things for future generations. And then lastly, I read The Stone Keeper, which is a graphic novel series, and it follows a young girl who moves to a inherited mansion with her mother and her brother after their father has passed away, and she finds an amulet in their grandfather's study, or their great grandfather, and then they discover like a whole hidden world underneath the house, and they have to go on an adventure to save their mom. It was really good. I'm actually very, very invested in the world and the storyline. There is like talking robots, sentient robots, and I think it's a bunny. I don't know if it's like a robot in a bunny suit or something, I'm not quite sure, but I'm very excited to see where the story goes, and I gave it 5 stars, and I'm eagerly awaiting the second one to come in from my library. For now, I think I'm going to focus on The Kite Runner. I would like to get at least halfway through this before I start something else. Preferably I would like to finish it, but once I finish it, I'm going to get into Demon Slayer, which I am in the middle of the series. I stopped on volume 5, so I'm going to start that, and then I also want to start One Piece again. I've got to the Thriller Bark arc in the anime, but I stopped reading the manga in Skypia, and I want to reread it and read the manga all the way to where it is now. Mostly I've just been watching anime and reading. Caught up on Juju, I was just 1 episode behind, and then I also watched a couple episodes of My Happy Marriage, and it's a lot darker than I was anticipating. I kind of was thinking that it was just gonna be this like very cute and sweet romance anime, and the romantic relationship is sweet, but the themes around it are quite dark. It deals very heavily with abuse on the heroine's part from her family, and there's a lot going on there. She's kind of having to learn to trust people, and she's finding a place that she belongs, and it's really beautiful to watch, but it's just not at all the like lighthearted that I was expecting. I kind of went from the Frieren, which was warm and cozy, to this, which is quite dark. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite anime that I've ever watched, but it's pretty good. So I'm definitely excited to finish it and move on to some other like more lighthearted watches.
I know that you're tired.
Okay friends, happy Saturday. Let us talk about The Kite Runner. Put the bingo things on our bingo card, and then we will wrap up the vlog. When I hauled all of the books that I was going to be reading this month for this readathon, I mentioned that it seemed like I needed to cry, and I've cried enough. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm done. I think I'm good on the crying, and I'm ready for some happiness. I've read a bunch of graphic novels, but that hasn't quite overpowered the other books. I just finished The Kite Runner. Last time I checked in on you, I said that I was enjoying it. I definitely enjoyed the first portion of the book way more than the second portion. The second portion felt like an action movie. I'm gonna leave down below some reviews from some Own Voices reviewers that talk about this book and this author in particular. If you are considering reading these books, I would urge you to read them. That being said, I did end up giving this 3 stars. Let's go to our bingo board, put the prompts on, and we'll wrap things up.
There's valleys and mountain tops on this rocky road. All I'm asking now, don't give up on love. Don't give up. future for